Actually, the first love of my life is actually Jewish, and he went on Birthright and deepened my love for Israel and the Jewish community. So I love Israel.
Oh boy, I can just feel the tension simmering in that room because Anna is about to explode right now.
How about this?
You
I
live
think
in
Jews,
an
I think
alternate
Jews should be
universe.
allowed to live in the West Bank.
I don't.
Why
I don't.
are Jews
no,
not
I don't.
allowed?
I don't.
So you believe in apartheid
Because they
then?
keep building
When it comes to
illegal
Jews,
settlements.
what
They're
if I
stealing
build a house
land,
legally? I buy
Emily.
land.
They're stealing land.
They don't want Jews in the West
Why
Bank.
don't they let the
That's
Palestinians
apartheid.
build houses in
There's
Israel?
2.8 million Arabs in Israel
Ma'am.
living better lives in Israel than the West Bank and Gaza combined. You just hate
Emily.
Jews. I will not.
No, I don't hate Jews.
Then why can't they live in the West Bank?
I hate disgusting,
Why can't they live in the West
vile
Bank?
propagandists
Why can't a
who
Jew
treat
live in
human
Gaza?
beings like trash like
Why
you?
can't a Jew live in the West Bank, Anna?
No, it's f***ing pathetic. All right, let's move on. Now that we've had that serious conversation, we're going to move on to something lighter, something fun. And that's the topic of Taylor Swift and how her new lyrics are supposedly MAGA coded.
All right, Anna Kasparian lost her f***ing mind recently.
I want to talk a little bit about Trump's speech in Israel. It has raised some eyebrows among some on the right, which is really interesting to see. So President Donald Trump raised some eyebrows during a speech in Israel this week, especially as the guy who ran on an America First message. So what did he have to say? Take a look at this.
My promise and officially recognize the capital of Israel and move the American embassy to Jerusalem. Isn't that right, Miriam? Look at Miriam, she's back there. Stand up, Miriam. Stand up. Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. They'd call me. He'd call me. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I can think of. Look at her sitting there so innocently. She's got 60 billion in the bank, 60 billion. She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That means that.
Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God.
That might mean Israel, I must say.
Yeah, I'm sure that rhetoric is fucking killing it these days. Does he have any idea just how yeah.
So that moment upset a lot of people because, again, I do think that one of the things that voters found appealing about Trump is that he ran on wanting to serve this country. What's best for America? America first. And so when you are, singing the praises of a dual citizen who he suspects is more or prioritizes Israel over our own country, and it seems like he's celebrating that, it turned a lot of people off. What's really interesting and funny, if you ask me, is back in 2015, when Trump was running in the first Republican primary for president, he had tweeted the following about Sheldon Adelson. Sheldon Adelson is looking to give big dollars to Rubio because he feels he can mold him into his perfect little puppet. I agree. And then 10 years later, you have Trump basically taking that same money. So does that mean that he sees himself as a perfect little puppet for the Adelsons? I don't know. Last election cycle, Miriam Adelson did give Trump huge cash infusion, $100 million in return for allowing Israel to annex the West Bank. I know Trump has said vocally that he won't let that happen, but in practice, it's already happening. They're building illegal settlements in the West Bank as we speak.
But that was the deal. She gave Trump money and she told him, I want you to annex the West Bank.
Widely reported, yeah.
Widely reported?
It is.
That's not a fact. It's widely reported I'm getting paid $7,000. That's not a fact. It's widely reported.
Wikipedia says this, but I don't know how reliable it is. Well, listen, ChatGPT seems to say no. No, it does not appear to be widely reported in reliable mainstream outlets that Adelson donated $100 million because candidate agreed to allow allow Israel to annex the West Bank. Some reporting, including the Israeli press, suggests that Adelson's support to Trump had conditions tied to Israeli policy, including annexation of the West Bank. For example, Haaretz's piece is cited, Trump is desperate for Miriam Adelson's cash, her condition, West Bank annexation. There's no definitive public disclosure. The claim that the donation was conditional and the candidate's commitment to annexation remains in the realm of journalistic interpretation or allegation rather than legal proof. What is it actually saying here? She was the third largest donor to Trump's 2024 election bid, donating $106 million. Adelson has consistently advocated for U.S. government to adopt more pro-Israel policies, including supporting Israel's annexation of the West Bank. Are there more articles than just the Haaretz article talking about like an explicit quid pro quo? She's saying is widely reported. That doesn't appear to be true. Here's the New York Times post. Okay. This year, Dr. Adelson does not have a specific wish list for Mr. Trump. 3 people close to her said. In contrast to when she and her husband implored Mr. Trump to move the embassy, her spokesman, Abby Aboud, denied a recent report that Dr. Adelson was urging Mr. Trump to publicly support an annexation of the West Bank. But Shmuley Botiak, a rabbi and longtime friend of the couple, said she believed Dr. Adelson supported annexation and considered so-called land for peace deals to actually be land for war. So that's actually not what the New York Times says. Not everyone in Dr. Adelson's orbit believes that Mr. Trump will deliver for her if he wins a second term. I think that we can rate Anna Kasparian's claim that it was widely reported that there was a quid pro quo. I think we can give that 2 Pinocchios. I don't think that's true. I could be wrong. I don't think it's true though.
Or Dean Kiswani justifies it, but that's defamation.
Why? Okay, so let me ask you something. Why would Miriam Adelson give him $100 million?
First of all,
Out of the
Trump
kindness
Because he's generally pro-Israel, right?
Sheldon. No, they go way back, long before Trump was even into politics.
Okay,
You're aware that
you're
they're
very
good friends,
naive
right? If I have
when
$60
you
billion
think that
and my
donors-
best friend's running for president, I'll give them $100 million too.
She was a fundraiser for the
Do you
Democratic
know
Party.
anything about my history? I was one of
actually
the biggest donors and fundraisers on the Democratic side. There's not a single donor who gave out of the kindness of their heart. Not a single one. I'm talking about the top level. I'm not talking about...
Well, there's a difference between... Isn't this a Mott and Bailey? I feel like this is a Mott and Bailey, right? The Bailey was Miriam Adelson gave Donald Trump $100 million because he agreed to allow Israel to annex the West Bank. And the Mott is like kind of like the straw man. Now we got to combine the two of like, oh, you really don't think that donors have influence? Well, that's a different claim.
the grassroots.
Right.
Everyone has a quid pro quo in mind. There's not. You're completely naive to think that people do this out of altruism. Like, give me a fucking break. There's
No,
no
I
way.
don't think
does that out of
Miriam Adelson did it
altruism. I
solely
agree with
because she's
you.
so nice.
So what is the other reason then?
Donations are definitely for a purpose. There's no question about that. But it's saying, and I think this is really important to note, that that donor believes in the politics of that politician. That's what it should always say. I'm saying in an ideal world, that's what it should say, is that donor saying, I believe in you for whatever reason, not I want this from you. In an ideal world, I totally get that. But at the same time, I think you can't question Donald Trump's America First commitment. I realize that he said that. He takes rabbit trails. We all know he has personal loyalties and friendships. But here's the deal. Peace requires partnership. And a lot of times I feel like Trump is playing 3D chess.
Mott is the weak claim, Bailey is the strong claim. I thought you bailed from the Bailey. Do you bail to the Bailey? Oh my God, this is like Montana and Wyoming all over again. I feel like you guys are intentionally fucking with me.
With some of the statements that he makes. We may not know exactly why. He's saying the things he says, either out of loyalty or partnership building, which has benefited all of us in ways that I think are...
Mott is the moat. Bailey. Oh, you bailed to the Bailey. Okay, so the Mott was that Miriam Adelson gave Trump $100 million because he agreed to allow Israel to annex the West Bank. And then the Bailey is donors influence politicians. Boom, there it is.
Innumerable at this point, and I think we could all probably agree to that. Or he has some reason why he's saying something. So I think to accuse Donald Trump, I just don't think it's realistic, because it's not what you say, it's what you do. And what he's done so far, and I'm hearing everyone consensus really here, is to prove that he is America First. If it came down to Israel and the United States, there's not a question in the world where President Trump would come down on that.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I don't know if I fully believe that. I mean, listen, we're in debt, and he has been bankrolling the genocide in Gaza and putting us even deeper in debt. How is that America First?
You know, Israel started purchasing the weapons from America a long time ago.
No.
They gave it up.
Don't lie to
and
me.
then Israel...
$31 billion since October 7th. We give them the
Ukraine too, but I
money,
don't hear you bitching
they
about
take the
that.
money and buy some American
Israel.
weapons.
You're not okay with Ukraine, with the money.
No, I'm not,
Ukraine.
actually. I
feel
totally sick of it.
U.S. foreign assistance to Israel since October 7th includes a large share of military defense-oriented support. For example, one assessment at least $16.3 billion in direct military aid was authorized in legislation. Separate estimate says at least $21.7 billion in military assistance. I don't know what that means. So we gave them missile defense systems. We gave them munition and ammunition, foreign military financing, arms sales negotiation. The aid was meant to replenish Israel's weapon stocks, strengthen and expand air and missile defense systems, provide long-term military financing to enable Israel to purchase major platforms and systems from U.S. industry, provide technological and specialized defense support, provide diplomatic support, side funding, possibly broader regional security support.
Israel purchased the weapons after Trump decided to
With
give them
our
weapons,
money,
they
Emily,
then
you
started
think I'm
giving it back.
stupid? Why do you think we had? Why did we allocate $31 billion
Has it
to
ever
Israel?
occurred to you? Maybe
Wait, didn't you just
maybe
tell us at the
America
beginning that
needs
they couldn't
something with
afford
Israel?
$7,000? You just said that at the very top of the hour. Now you're saying they're buying weapons. You can't have both.
Because there's money that's
You can't have
allocated
both,
towards
okay?
war, and
They
there's money
can't-
allocated towards
you
public
can't
relations.
not. You
There's different
can't.
bank rolls,
Okay,
as
right.
you know, as a fundraiser.
So you're
Money gets
saying
allocated.
you can't have it both ways. Okay, it's just the Israeli government. They can figure it out. They're smart. If they can't afford $7,000, as you allege, they can't afford billions of dollars of weapons.
Well, they're busy
You
buying
can't
the
have-
weapons.
That's a
you
great
can't-
point.
You
That's actually
can't
a great
have your
point.
cake and eat it too, Emily. You just can't.
There's a big
Okay.
difference in paying PR wars for influencers who already
the
are
same
speaking in an
government.
echo chamber
Are you telling-
and buying
are you telling
war
me-
weapons.
I
from the
know,
United
Emily,
States of
but
America.
earlier you said that Israel can't afford to pay influencers $7,000 per post.
Correct. It's not in
and
their
then
budget.
you
It's
ventured
not
to
a priority
say
to them,
that
is my
Israel
point.
has like unlimited money to buy
Benjamin Netanyahu
weapons
just
on their
said
own. They
at
don't.
the conference that you attended in that room with the influencers that it's the new front. It's the new frontier. It is a priority. It's his biggest priority. That's why he took time out of his busy day to meet with you guys.
And how come
It's a
not one
huge
person in the whole
priority.
room was paid like everyone's alleging? It's widely reported that everyone in that room was paid. I could say everyone in that
Let
room
me tell you,
was there
when
for free.
I worked, I would never received a cent from the DNC. No one ever paid me. I did it because I have money myself and I have a lot of wealthy friends. Okay, so I'm not a staffer. I'm not a disgruntled employee. I will
Where the fuck did she get her money? What do we know about her? What's her name? Lindy Lee. Born in China, immigrated with her family to the U.S. at the age of 10. Her father worked as a property manager. Her grandparents were illiterate farmers. Lee spent much of her childhood in Malvern, Pennsylvania, where she attended public school before transferring to the Agnes Irwin School, a private college prep day school for girls, on a scholarship. Graduating in 2008, Lee attended Princeton University, where she was elected vice president of her freshman class before assuming the title of class president in February 2009. Following the elected student class president's departure from Princeton, she wrote her senior thesis on the ethics of climate change legislation and graduated in 2012 with a philosophy degree. She announced her intention to run in Pennsylvania's 7th Congressional District Democratic primary. She shifted her preliminary candidacy to Pennsylvania's 6th Congressional District, citing advice from party leaders. Lee would ultimately withdraw her candidacy in April 2016 prior to the primary after a court challenge as to the validity of her candidacy petition signatures. What happened with that? Did she forge signatures? In 2018, Lee was a candidate in Pennsylvania's 5th Congressional District Democratic primary. I haven't seen that yet, Jaji, no. During this campaign, Lee described herself, now keep in mind, this was 7 years ago. Lee described herself as a tree-hugging progressive who supported the legalization of marijuana, a national jobs guarantee, and opposed foreign policy interventionism. She sought the endorsement of the Philadelphia chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America and publicly praised Senator Bernie Sanders. Lee lost the Democratic primary to Mary Gay Scanlon, placing 6th out of 10 candidates. In February 2020, she appeared on Fox to discuss the dangers of socialism. All right, so something happened between 2018 and 2020. Something radicalized her. After the 2020 Super Tuesday primary elections, Lee appeared on Al Jazeera to debate Sanders supporter Linda Sarsour concerning which Democrat would be best to defeat Donald Trump. During the interview, Lee stated that she would not vote for Sanders if he became the Democratic nominee. Something happened. Something happened between 2018 and 2020. In 2022, Lee was named as co-chair of Justice Unites Us Super PAC, announced as a multi-million-dollar fund to drive grassroots engagement in the Asian community. In March 2023 on MSNBC, Lee said, let's also not ignore the fact that CPAC has become a gathering of sexual predators. Let's be honest. Tonight we have Trump, a serial racist. So this is the party that claims to be the party of Christian family values. I have nothing to say or do but laugh at that. And 2 years later, she is now a pro-Trump podcaster. Oh, here, hold on. After college, Lee worked as a financial analyst for Merck and Morgan Stanley. And so that after college, that would have been in 2012. Can you make like generational wealth and just pivot to just giving money to political campaigns in 4 years of being an analyst for like Morgan Stanley? Like, how much money is that? There's no way, right? Her family has to have had just a shitload of money, right? Morgan Stanley, maybe $150K a year as an analyst. Where the fuck did her money come from? Does anybody know? Nobody knows. God, I hate her. Like, I actually hate her. I hate this person, bro. She's just the worst.
Tell you one thing, though. The influencers that allege on the Democratic side who say they didn't take any money from the Democratic Party, they all did. Because there were shell companies, there were agencies that the DNC funneled money through in order to give these influencers cover to say, oh, I wasn't paid, for example. I was.
All that would be trackable, right? You couldn't really like completely hide that, right? So she has a lot of money. Just hire a crackpot team of forensic, like financial analysts or whatever, and just track the money and then show your work. Like, you have the resources to track that stuff down and actually start naming names. But instead you're doing this whole, like, they were all getting paid fucking thing. Forensic accountants, yeah.
I wasn't paid by Israel. I wasn't paid by the Biden campaign because technically on paper they weren't. They were paid by private donors and private companies in order to say that they are actually, it's organic, it's how they actually feel. All the while they are receiving money. Do you understand?
Okay, and I have a hypothetical question. If tomorrow I got bankrolled by Israel, I got Miriam Adelson type money coming into my bank account, I am already pro-Israel. Why can't I be paid for that? If I'm pro-Saudi Arabia, I love going to Riyadh. I'm there 3 times a year, and I love it.
Are you registered as a foreign agent under FARA?
No, but they're paying me for a service. I work
and you
there.
should be registering under
That's
FARA.
fine. I'm not lobbying. I have nothing to do with lobbying.
It's fine if they're paying you.
I'm a person who's being employed by them. Why is that a problem? Because it's Israel? Because a million other countries are doing the same
But they're
thing.
not.
Okay,
By the way,
hold on.
Israel was the only country that emailed me, to be honest. You're saying all the countries around the world are doing it. Israel was the only foreign nation.
That's you.
that's
I
ever.
could name you 35 people. It's not you that are being reached out to by other countries.
Too.
Every
Besides
country.
Israel.
I'm sorry
Okay,
they reached out
I
to you.
I'm just saying.
That's you. But I know personally people, I'm not saying widely reported, I personally know people who have been reached out to by Qatar, by places like Venezuela reaching out to people to try to fix their PR problem. This is not exclusive to Israel. Now, I want to bring up the Miriam Adelson point. Israel first, Trump first. First of all, I think she's more Israeli than American. That's already a fact. She speaks like this. She's a very cute woman from Israel. It's cute. It's funny. But I don't think it's a loyalty question. You can be very much pro two things when their values align. Do you really think with or without Miriam Adelson's money, Trump's not a Zionist? Without Miriam's money, you're going to tell me you don't think
I don't
he
think
supports
Trump has
Israel?
strong feelings one way or the other, to be honest with you.
I disagree with you.
I don't think that
I don't think
America
Trump
likes Israel.
has, like... I don't
Regardless of
think
money.
Trump would be doing Israel's bidding to the extent he's doing Israel's bidding if it wasn't for money in politics and it wasn't for, you know,
I absolutely
donors
agree.
like
Do you think
Miriam
that's true?
Adelson.
I absolutely agree
I mean,
with
think
that.
about
His
this.
daughter's Jewish, and a lot of his friends, a lot of his closest friends are. I think President Trump has been pro-Israel for a very long time.
Way before
I don't
he
know
was
that he's ever
president.
labeled himself as Zionist. I don't know that I've ever
Pro-Israel
heard
means
that.
you're a Zionist.
Well, not necessarily.
so.
I think a Zionist is a
I would say
distinction
that I'm
that's
staunchly
maybe
pro-Israel.
a little different from
I consider
pro-Israel.
myself
What's
to be
the definition
staunchly
of
pro-Israel.
Zionism?
Actually, the first love of my life is actually Jewish, and he went on Birthright and deepened my love for Israel and the Jewish community. So I love Israel.
Oh boy, I can just feel the tension simmering in that room because Anna is about to explode right now. You what? That's a little strange for like a 40-year-old woman to be like, my first love. Like, who talks like that?
detest the worst excesses of Zionism.
You got to watch Lindy Lee talk about her experience on birth control. That is not a sentence that I expected to read today, but now you've piqued my curiosity.
This is very personal, but it's true, and people might not recognize the impact of it. I was on birth control for 5 years. I was told to get on it by a liberal doctor who basically marketed it as something that would solve. I have.
My sister in Christ, you know, there are records of you running as a Democrat in Pennsylvania more than 5 years ago, right? That stuff is written down and then documented. What the fuck? Like, oh, I started taking birth control that some liberal doctor prescribed me. And then, oh, guess what? I started thinking liberal things. You connect the dots. That's fucking insane. I didn't know about this.
Health issues. I didn't go on it for licentious behavior or anything like that.
Or wait, maybe that's not what she's saying?
It was supposed to help with something. But it completely altered my mind almost. And when I decided to come off it in May 2023, I feel like I reclaimed my life. And I realized conservatives were right all along. And people might ridicule me for citing this as a reason, but I feel like it stole half a decade of my life. Half a decade that I was kind of living on the sidelines of what I could have been. And so I'm playing catch up. I've been playing catch up for the past 2 years because I bought into that ideology that birth control was gonna, it would herald independence.
You know what though, you guys? That's kind of savvy. That's kind of savvy when you think about it. She's like, okay, I know I can make a shitload of money by grifting the living shit out of like idiot MAGA people. Okay, how do I make this transition? Like how can I make that lateral move in a way that makes any sense? Because there's footage of me from November talking about how it was really important to elect Kamala Harris. Okay, so like, what do I do? What's really popular with like online MAGA people? Oh, I know. Like anti-pharma stuff, like anti-vax stuff. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say it was fucking Big Pharma's poison that got me to realize that conservatives were always right. Like, it's kind of savvy. You know what I mean? Can I please say something about this? No, I don't want to talk about, no, I'm sorry, but not today. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of birth control right now.
It's a new era for women, but it actually just hijacked my mind.
That is so fucking bizarre.
The Greater Israel Project,
exactly,
expansionism.
and the atrocities. It breaks my heart to see this happening. And another thing is, you brought up a few seconds ago that you see that the values of America and it doesn't sit well with me to conflate Israel with the Israeli government, by the way, because I think the Israeli people are beautiful.
Yeah.
They're just awesome.
Let's be clear about that.
Benjamin
Civilians
Netanyahu
are totally
that I have
What
a
about
problem with.
Israelis?
Can
who
I finish
support
this point, though? Can I
Netanyahu?
please just...
They're still civilians.
I have to finish this point, though.
It is what it is.
You were saying earlier how America's values and the United States' values coincide. I actually don't think that's true, because when prior to the peace plan, when the United States was clearly abetting the atrocities in Gaza, our enemies like Russia and China and Iran they were using our alliance with Israel against us and pointing to that and saying America is a hypocrite, America is abetting war crimes. So in that case,
which country said that? Russia, China,
our adversaries.
or telling
You
us
should
we're
take,
doing
Emily,
war
you
crimes.
should take a good look at what Kyiv looks like versus
don't
what
look at
Gaza
me.
City looks
Wait,
like.
do not ridicule me. I can see that look of disdain on your face.
It's hypocrisy, not
No,
disdain,
let me
but okay.
finish my point. They're pointing to other countries. When they try to find allies in South America, Africa, all around the world, they say, don't hang out with the United States, hang out with us. Because at least we are not abetting atrocities in Israel. At least we are not hypocrites. That's what I mean. Because they are winning the propaganda war against us. Everything is about propaganda and the war. They don't want an American-led world order. They are trying to topple us. Do you understand? They are trying to topple the American empire. And so this matters. The story around America matters.
It does.
American values matters. We cannot be seen as abetting atrocities. We cannot have the blood of 67,000 women and children on our hands.
So, all right, first of all, again, it's a war. Second of all, my thing is, when I say they coincide with values, what would you say in the entire Middle East is the closest country to the United States in terms of fair elections, allowing LGBTQ people?
It's an apartheid state. How are you going to say it's fair elections? Palestinians aren't allowed to vote. And they're not even allowed to have their own state. They're not.
Well, there's like 2 million Palestinians that live in Israel that vote, but
Benjamin Netanyahu has said multiple times, I will not allow the Palestinians to have their own state.
You know why? Because
so they're
people
stuck
like
in a
Hamas.
situation. Oh my God.
Wait, if you were Prime Minister Netanyahu,
there's no
and
Hamas in the West
governing
Bank,
Gaza.
Emily. There's
the
no Hamas
PLO
in
pay for slay.
Oh, the PLO
pay
too.
for slay
They're Palestinians. So by nature
if you
being
kill a Jew,
Palestinians,
if
they
you kill
shouldn't
a
be
Jew,
allowed.
we're giving you $10,000. Is that a person you'd give a state? Because you're saying you're making it seem like the PLO are the good guys now.
Man,
when they stop funding people to kill Jews, maybe Netanyahu should negotiate with them. But until they stop raising their kids to say, hey, I know you want to go work and become an engineer, but if you kill a Jew, you'll get $10,000 per Jew.
The PLO is killing Jews in the West Bank. The PLO is on its knees.
Pay for slay.
Beyond deferential to the Israelis, doing everything they can to show we're being peaceful. Let us have our own state.
What about pay for slay?
What do they keep doing?
Peaceful?
What do they keep doing? They keep building illegal settlements. They
what
keep
is pay for
building
slay?
illegal.
The woman here is just like, oh, their face just says it all.
Illegal settlements. They keep building illegal settlements.
What is pay for
but you
slay?
don't care, right? You don't care.
What is
Let me
pay
go in
for
your
slay?
neighborhood. What are you saying?
That's what they do in the West Bank. The PLO funds people to kill Jews. Has this not been something you've been informed of?
Have you not seen these
Pay for slay. How about this?
You
I
live
think
in an
I think
alternate
Jews should be
universe.
allowed to live in the West Bank.
I don't.
Why
I don't.
are Jews
no,
not allowed?
I don't.
So you believe in apartheid
because they
then?
keep building
When it comes to
illegal
Jews,
settlements.
what
They're
if I
stealing
build a house
land,
legally? I buy
Emily.
land.
They're stealing land.
They don't want Jews in the West
Why
Bank.
don't they let the Palestinians build houses in Israel?
There's 2.8 million Arabs in Israel living better lives in Israel than the West Bank and Gaza combined. You just hate Jews. I will not.
No, I don't hate Jews.
Then why can't they live in the West Bank?
I hate disgusting,
Why can't they live in the West Bank?
Propagandists
Why can't a Jew
who treat
live in
human
Gaza?
beings like trash like
Why
you?
can't a Jew live in the West Bank, Anna?
No, it's fucking pathetic.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Oh, man. Jesus. Fucking intense. It's so funny because there's more to that clip where she just like she seamlessly segues into like a conversation about Taylor Swift. Watch the seamless segue into a segment about Taylor Swift.
West Bank and Gaza combined. You just hate Jews. I will not.
No, I don't hate Jews.
Then why can't they live in the West Bank?
I hate disgusting,
why can't they live in the West Bank?
Propagandists
Why can't a
who
Jew
treat
live in
human
Gaza?
beings like trash like
why
you.
Why can't a Jew live in the West Bank, Anna?
No, it's fucking pathetic. All right, let's move on. Now that we've had that serious conversation, we're going to move on to something lighter, something fun. And that's the topic of Taylor Swift and how her new lyrics are supposedly MAGA-coded.
Okay, now I have to see, like, how did they navigate this tension? Now I have to watch at least some of this segment.
Thanks, Anna. Well, I'm a little embarrassed to admit how much I know about Taylor and Taylor Swift lore. She and I have the same birthday. She's from the same area in Pennsylvania. Our brothers are the same age. So I grew up listening to her music, and I know a ton about her. And there's been a recent uproar over her music and her new album called Life of a Showgirl. And yes, I already know.
Like, how do you go from screaming "you just hate Jews" to like, let's talk about Taylor Swift's new album?
The lyrics. And the controversy is that many of her liberal fans, and a lot of her fans are actually liberal, which is actually one of the reasons why she decided to endorse Kamala Harris in the previous election. A lot of her fans are saying that her lyrics in her songs are trad wife, which is short for traditional wife, and MAGA coded. And what does that mean? She went from writing she became famous for writing love songs, about really bad boyfriends.
For breakups.
Exactly. But now she's singing about wanting, quote unquote, the entire block to look like you. Direct quote, by the way, from the song Wish List. Yes, I know too much. And saying that she just wants to have kids. She just
Okay, hold on. What's the name of the song?
wants to have a basketball look like you.
Wish List. Did Taylor Swift become a NFL wiener, turned her into a little groiper? Wait, what happened? Hold on. I just want you, have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you. We tell the world, leave us alone. And they do. Wow. Got me dreaming about a driveway with a basketball hoop. Boss up, settle down, got a wish list. I just want you. Is there a different way to interpret the lyrics? Got the whole block looking like you. Not her best work. Fashion? I don't fucking know.